Hello, my name is Hakon and welcome back all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados for yet another day of fighting fantasy fun as we again tackle the mystery that is Masks of Mayhem. Yes, it is book number 23 in the fighting fantasy series. It is very grey on the cover and there are some quirks in it when it comes to how it is written. It is in isolation, each paragraph is well written, but the way the paragraphs are strung together is sometimes a little bit weird, and there's some continuity narrative foibles, seemingly, or things that don't really feel logical or consistent in it, but we can live with those things. We're still trying to solve the puzzle of how to get from the beginning to the end, find the essential items, and save the world. Yes. So the last few times, the last time I did a different path than the one before. I didn't find what I'm quite sure is an essential item, which is a scepter, but that is fine. I'm going to try different paths again today because part of beating a game book, as far as I'm concerned, is of course finding the right path. But in order to do that, you have to branch out a bit and make sure that you covered a lot of ground as well on your early playthroughs, so that later you can be quite sure that what you are doing is to go on the best path towards victory. So I think that's all I need to say in my intro today, so I think I'll just get started. Yeah, another thing, I mentioned this before as well, I will start to try to keep up the rhythm now of having 2 fighting fantasy videos a week. So this is Monday morning, so I need to, of course, make an episode Monday morning, preferably, and then I'll make another one on Tuesdays, and then I will be able to publish one on Tuesdays and Fridays, which is going to be my normal 2 episodes a week schedule. So that is the plan. Of course, sometimes things will get in the way, so hopefully I'll be able to also do 3 episodes some weeks. So I've got a little bit of, so I'm ahead of my publishing schedule, which is part of the idea. Anyway, that's not really important for you to know. That's just how things work in YouTube land. So I'll get started. So boom. Okay, here we are on my desk. I've got my supplies. I've got my book. Yes, first of all, most importantly, I've got my map from the last 2 times, including a tiger hunt. Well, saber-toothed tiger hunt. And of course, as we know, there is not such thing as a saber-toothed tiger. There are saber-toothed cats. Tigers, no. Saber-toothed cat hunt, and I've got my character sheet, which is still blank. I've got my pens, pencil and dice, and a mouse that should be a little bit further away, and I've also got a cup of tea. Yummy. You'll also see that I got a notification on Facebook, which isn't important, and I'm putting my phone on silent so that if it rings, I can see it because it keep it in front of me here, but it won't disturb the video. I know you like nobody has commented on my ringtone, have they? Nobody's commented on my ringtone. But I'm sure some of you people like my ringtone, and which I composed myself, by the way. Yes, I did. And but of course it can start ringing in the middle of a sentence, a paragraph. When I'm playing, it can be a bit distracting as well, for me as well as for you. Okay, right, let's get started. Yeah, I need to roll my character first of all. Of course, skill is today a healthy 12. Stamina, I'm gonna re-roll a 4 actually. I'm gonna do, yeah. The thing about these books, as far as I'm concerned, the fun of them is not rolling the dice. So, and in order to roll the least dice, you need your abilities to be very good. The fun of it is finding the correct path. the challenge of that, finding the items, mapping it out, and discovering what the best solution is. It's a puzzle, so that's why I do not mind some. I don't call it cheating. It's being pragmatic, because it's a game. It's supposed to be fun, and if it isn't fun anymore, then it's not a good game. So if having low abilities makes it less fun, then it makes you like the game less. Right, in this book we also have provisions that we got 10. Also some weird stuff going on with provisions in this one, by the way. And potion, I've got a potion, and of course usually you can choose between skill, stamina, or luck potion. In this one, I think maybe I'll actually go with a potion of fortune, so it will restore my luck and increase it by 1 point. It's always a bit rubbish to run low on luck. So, okay. Let's get started. You are the just and noble ruler of Arion in northeast Kul. Your people prosper, and the land flourishes. But trouble is brewing. One day your court wizard, Ivor summons you. Though you are the ruler, he is your equal because of his knowledge of sorcery. Each of you relies on the other for the governing of the land, but you can never quite overcome a suspicion of anyone involved in the sorcerous arts. Ivor comes straight to the point. You have heard, of course, of Morgana, the sorceress whose abode is the 5 peaks of Krilganash in the northern mountains. I have travelled in my astral body to her lair to watch over her evil designs. There are 12 forms, the sigils which hold the keys of power over all things. This has long been known to those who pursue the righteous side of my ancient art. Without this knowledge, we would be unable to assist the thriving of the world. Morgana has acquired this knowledge, though the Council of Elders bans such as her from it. She has made masks of 11 of the sigils and fitted them on undead golems, creatures of stone. She lacks only the 12th, which binds the others together and makes them effective. When power over all creation will be hers, to do what she will, and she will unleash her golems over all the world. They will be irresistible, because they will be the essence of all things, and nothing can resist its essence. She plans to create havoc with her undead creatures, and has imbued the masks with the power of mayhem, which awaits only the 12th to be made actual. You must slay Morgana. You are the noblest ruler and the boldest fighter of the land. Only you can succeed. You interrupt. But why can't your council do something about her? His reply is grim. Because in such a magical battle, the forces that would be released may cause almost as much damage as the full set of 12 golems. Only one such as yourself, armed with purity of purpose, is impervious to most of our magical arts, whether good or evil. Yes, it must be you for our plan to succeed. His words have filled you with dread and eagerness. Your preparations are swift, and you depart early the next morning. Right. Turn to 1. Before setting off, you enter the armory. Kevin Truehand, your trusted but now aged armourer, has been honing your sword and burnishing your helmet with its strangely simple device. This helmet has been handed down from generation to generation of rulers of Arion, and legend has it that if it were ever to fall into the wrong hands, chaos would stalk the streets of your city. As you put on the helmet and buckle your sword to your belt, Truehand whispers to you, as if afraid that someone might hear, Majesty, seek first the castle of Heather, Lord of Fallow Dale, for you are bound for Krilganash, where evil dwells, and Heather has a horn which strikes terror into any evil heart. Therefore I say, seek the halls of Heather, and win from him, however you can, this precious horn. With that he turns aside, and you set out, through the paved streets of Arion and out of the northern gateway, the Gate of Skulls. Turn to 53. Truhan's advice seems sound. Not far north of Arion is the vast Lake Necros. Just north of the lake lies Fallow Dale. From there you could head north and slightly east over Pikestaff Plain, leaving Marsh Vile to the west, and through the foothills and mountains until you came to Krilganash itself, with its 5 ice-capped peaks lost in the clouds. After a few days of easy travel, with springs and game so plentiful that you still have all your original provisions, you reach the southern shore of Lake Necros, at the end of civilization as you know it. Beyond this, the ways are unknown to the people of Ariel. They don't go very far, do they? Within memory, Lake Necros has never been crossed. People speak of unfathomable depths, spawning hideous monsters, and of strange and mysterious winds and currents which turn the chill, still waters into whirlpools and ungovernable waves. Nevertheless, your most direct route is across it. Will you, bold hero that you are, build a raft and embark across the lake, or strike out around its eastern edge, through rolling hills, or around its western edge, through Affen Forest? Now, I have noticed, of course, going west seems to have some benefits that may be... It may be that is the only correct path. Today, I think I'll try to go east just to see what there is. Because that might actually still be the best path. I don't know, because I haven't taken that path yet. So I should really try it. And yeah. 245 is where I'm going. You set off through the hills on the first stage of your hazardous journey. Tiny animals disturb the grass and sorrel. A few trees have been bent into grotesque shapes by decades of wind. You can put some sorrel in your pack if you want. Okay, so this is where the sorrel is found, which is something that you'll need if you want the healer in the town to heal you later. There's a town you when you get to it. So let's see. So we've got some sorrel. The sun sinks gradually below the forest-shrouded hills on the far side of the lake as you continue northwards. Will you camp here by the lakeside, or carry on through the deepening dusk? So this is exactly the same as when you go through the forest. You ask the same question, whether to camp or keep going. And also, just the idea of camping by the lakeside, it does seem a little bit iffy to me, because I know that there are creatures living in that lake with long tentacles. They might grab you and pull you into the water if you camp by the lakeside. So camp or carry on? I'm going to carry on. Night has well and truly fallen, and the gibbous moon is in the mid-heaven. When you reach the top of one low mound, you see in the dell not far below you a campfire, burning bright and welcoming. You see 2 humanoid shapes by the fire, but cannot quite make out to which race they belong. Would you go down towards the fire for a closer look, or skirt the region and continue your journey? I'll see whoever wrote this, which is, by the way, hang on, Robin Waterfield. He likes to use the word skirt. There's been a few skirtings now. So just like Steve Jackson, he likes to say nip, and this guy, he likes to say skirt. Both in the motion sense of the words. Right. So we've got 2 options. Either we go down to the... Let's do it like that. Either we go down to the fire, or we skirt the region and continue our journey. So we got skirt, I'll just put that like that, and then fire. So far, these rows are actually symmetrical, both in, well, actually in how it looks on the map now, and also in our options, because in both cases there was something that we could check out, something we could try to avoid. I'm going to check out this campfire. You trip over a rock on the way down and tumble down the slope, landing on your feet in the circle of firelight. You trip on the way down when you're trying to sort of sneak down. Not even a luck roll, not a skill roll, not anything. You just trip and end up in the circle of firelight. And again, it just feels like the narrative is strung together in a way that doesn't feel quite, I don't know. $254. Okay. I'll do that there. $254. You have stumbled into the encampment of two Blackheart hunters. Blackhearts are an evil race, a cross between orcs and dark elves. You had thought them quite extinct, eliminated in the great war of your ancestor, Brendan Bloodaxe. But here are two of them, presumably from a village not too far away, looking quite as evil and dangerous as legend paints their forebears. They quickly recover from their surprise at your intrusion, pick up jagged scimitars, and cautiously approach, one to either side of you. And that's a very nice picture there. Let's do like so, yeah. You will have to fight them simultaneously. Choose one as an opponent, etc., etc. So, yeah. It's the usual combat against two opponents. Usually when you get that, they are not as strong as these. I mean, in terms of stamina. I mean, they're not that strong in terms of skill. So it should be okay. So we've got 6, 10, 7, 10. And of course, usually when I do these things, you want to reduce your chances of getting injured as quickly as possible, which means in this case, I will attack the one with the lowest skill first, since I have the same amount of stamina. Okay. So, first one, I've got a 6 skill point advantage. He rolls 7, I roll 4, so he is down to 8. Second one, he rolls 6 and I roll 7, so he doesn't do anything. Next round, 9, 5, so that is another hit on the, what do we call it again? Blackheart. And second one rolls a 9, I roll 9 to defend myself against his attack. Third round, 9, 7, 5, 12. Next round, 8, 9, 2. Okay, you can't hit me then. Next round again, 10, 4. That is a draw. 7, 8. Next round, 10, 4. That's a draw again. 8, 4. That is also me defending myself. Next round, 5. Okay, then I've got him. So first one is dead. Defending myself against the second one, who rolls 12. I roll 4 again, and that means he actually hits me. Then it's the attacking the second one. 5 skill point advantage. He rolls 11. I roll 7. That is first hit. 6, 7. That wasn't a roll. 8, 8, 7, 10, and finally perhaps 8, 7. So I got injured for 2 points, and I won the battle. And now I've got 2 options here. If you defeat both Blackhearts, will you use their camp as your own for the night, or quickly make your way out of the area? Now, there is a chance, of course, that these 2 at the camp, that there are others around as well, but I'll take my chances. So I'm going to use this as my camp. And I'll just do like that. So 3, 6, 7, leave. 2, 6, 9, camp. The night passes. Oh, that's quite a creature there, isn't it? That is quite a creature. The night passes peacefully and you wake up at dawn. Mist rolling in from the lake is already obscuring the surrounding hills. Now, see, last time in when I died, the insta-death last time, there was a mist mentioned, but it wasn't mentioned until the paragraph that you died. So it's sort of, that's slightly random narrative sometimes. Mist rolling in from the lake is already obscuring the surrounding hills, and crows are approaching, eyeing the corpses of the hunters. In the morning light, you spot the Blackheart's packs, half hidden under a gorse bush. In them, you find a length of stout rope and 2 bearskins. So we find, let's see, rope, 2 bearskin. Oh, you decide to leave the pelts. Why are they even telling me that? Rope. You decide to leave the pelts since they would weigh you down, but you take the rope. Then you continue on your journey. The density of the mist soon makes you hopelessly lost. Turn to 108. Right. 108. Will you stay where you are until the mist clears, or press on regardless? Well, that is a good question. Stay or go? 138. Press on. 27. Stay. Now, since if you're sensible, you would of course stay, but I'm being adventurous now and I can save my game. That means I can press on. 138. You can see only a few meters ahead of you, so you are pleasantly surprised when you come across a trail made by animals of some kind, running to your left and right. Will you turn left, right, or continue through the trackless hills? Right, so we got 3 options. I'll put them like so, I think. So we've got left, 1, 5, 6, left, 2, 6, 3, right, or 1, 8, 9, continue. I'm going to follow the trail, 2, 6, 3. And that was actually another insta-death. Now these insta-deaths here are a little bit weird, because just like the one in the forest, this one said, you walk off through the mist which closes behind your back. You are never seen again by man or monster on this earth. This is the same as the one that I got in the forest. Now, and this is also, I sort of figured when I encountered that one in the forest there was no mention of a mist before, and so it's a catch-all insta-death paragraph, but then it should not mention the mists, really, because now it's confusing things a little bit. So right, so that is the end. And again, it doesn't make any logical sense because you were on a path. Again, you could have backtracked. Why there's no, you're not given any reason why you're not seen again by man or monster. And why would you not be seen again by man or monster? I mean, you wouldn't just, you're standing there in the mist and you're walking into the mist and suddenly you're dead. And nobody sees you, you just disappear. What is that? At least a monster would encounter you. Just an animal would eat you even if you fell over and died, and that would take days and the mist would have cleared by then. It doesn't make any logical sense. Right, let's go left then. Whatever animals made the track were clearly not interested in traveling in straight lines. Even with your limited vision and muddled sense of direction, you can tell that your course is meandering all over the place. Still, you stick to the track, and it eventually takes you to the top of a hill. Now, this is also where in a normal game book you would have been given the option of changing your mind as well. Because the whole point of following the track is to get somewhere. Yeah. It eventually takes you to the top of the hill where ancient monoliths jut like pitted teeth through the swirling mist. The wind picks up and howls eerily across the hilltop. Then a hollow voice sounds from all around you. Who is this who dares disturb the sacred place of the whites? No matter. The penalty is fixed. The mist in the center of the stone solidifies into a figure. On its head is a crown of pale fire, and in its hand a glittering sword. Wherever you run, it seems to block your way. You must stand and fight. Right. So 9, oops, wrong pen, 9, 12, and let's fight the white. So I've got 12, 18, he has 9, 12. I've got a 3 skill point advantage. 6, 10, good starts. 10, there we are. 7, 8, yeah. 3. 7, yeah. 8, 7, 4, 3, 4, 5. See, a white cannot stand up against the likes of me, the noblest and most goody two-shoes leader of the land. If you win, you take the white sword, which turns out to be of ancient and noble design, obviously the lost property of some long-dead king, slain in times past by this evil white. Add 1 to your skill score, even if this takes you over your initial score. Also a very clumsy way of saying get 1 bonus when you're fighting. I don't know why they can't handle this properly in fighting fantasy books. It is so simple. You get an item that helps you in battle, whether it's a shield or a sword or a piece of armor, and it should say very easily that you get a bonus of 1 on your combat roll when wearing this or wielding this. It's so simple, and still they manage to explain it a lot of the time in ways that are confusing and makes people think they can't get the bonus because they can't increase their skill. And this one, of course, it does say it goes above initial skill, but still it shouldn't be an addition to skill. It should be a combat bonus. Those things should have been kept completely separate. Anyway, so it's a sword plus 1, because now, when you think about it, my skill shouldn't really be 13 now, because what if I'm doing a feat of agility or strength rather than one of combat? Then would my skill then also be 13? See, that doesn't make any sense. You want this to be a combat bonus. Anyway, that's how they do it. I'm doing it the way it was intended and the way that makes logical sense, because I like things to make logical sense. Right. Will you now stay where you are until the mist clears, or continue on your way? I'm not sure if this is a good place to stay, though. It sounds a bit somehow. It's a magical place, clearly. Let's see. So we have here sword plus 1. So it is 3, 6, 2 stay, or 3 continue on my way. So 3, 6, 2, or 3. So stay, go. I'm going to continue on my way, I think. The mist begins to clear as you follow the trail, which carries on down the other side of the hill. However, it is still thick in the valleys. At one point you look up to assess how much longer the mist will last. The sun is a hazy yellow-orange ball behind the clouds. Well, if you can see the sun through the mist, that means it's... Well, first of all, it's all that misty and it won't last that long. So you fail to see what is right in front of your feet and you plummet down a gaping hole in the ground. Roll 1 die and deduct that many stamina points. Okay. Let's see. Stamina minus 1d6. When you regain consciousness, you look around. It didn't tell me that I lost consciousness, it just told me that I regained it. Again, poor narrative, sorry. When you regain, I keep going on about this like a broken record now, but it is so obvious in this book. When you regain consciousness, you look around. The light streaming in from above reveals a well-shaped tunnel. What is a well-shaped tunnel anyway? What is a well? Is a tunnel shaped like a well? It's not a tunnel shaped well. A well-shaped tunnel. It looks as though you have landed in an old mine. You cannot chimney. Oh. Yeah, okay. So it's not a tunnel, it's a shaft though, but yeah. I see what he means now. Okay, so it's a well-shaped shaft. It looks as though you have landed in an old mine. You cannot chimney your way back up the shaft since the entrance is too high above your head and the sides are too sheer. So will you go west or east? Okay. Right, so I'm sort of in a kind of dungeon now, maybe? Right, so let's just do mapping then. So we've got left and right. I hope this dungeon isn't too big because there's no space for that here. 394, 144, east, west. Okay. I'm going to go east, 144. As you walk along, you notice that there are many evenly spaced shafts drilled through to the ground above. These afford light and air, but are out of reach and just as unclimbable as the one you fell down, even though I have a rope and stuff. You conclude that the mine was once worked by slaves who needed to breathe and see, but also had to be prevented from escaping. That makes sense. It turns out that this was a copper mine. The vein is worked out, but you find a nugget of greenish ore which you keep. This sounds very familiar. Have I been here before? Oh, hang on. Did I go... Am I getting confused now? Because is this the paragraph that I went to? I'm wondering if this is the one I went to when I was playing... when I was playing Fighting Fantasy Roulette, and that's why it sounds so familiar. Okay, so the copper mine, the vein is worked out, but you find a nugget of greenish ore. So I find a nugget of copper ore, which is also an item that has been mentioned as something you can use later in the game. I'm starting to get the feeling, in the way this game is structured now, that might actually be possible to complete the game whether you go west or east in the beginning. It's just two different paths, possibly. Many games did start using that sort of concept of not just one correct path but several. Actually, I'll just have a look and see what it says about it, although this might be cut and paste, if it says anything about it. Yeah, the paragraph where it says there's only one correct path through and you can make it even with low abilities is not here. So, I don't know. Right, so... yes, 144 east, and there was a copper nugget. It turns out that this was a couple. Yeah, okay. Soon a side passage from which a remarkably horrid stench is issuing opens up to your right. Will you take it or continue along the main tunnel? So we have two options. Uh, 370 continue or 325 east. I'm going to check out the stench. I'm a sucker for punishment. The smell gets worse, and then you lose your footing in the accumulated sludge of generations of bats whose colony you have entered. Before you can get to your feet, they are flapping all around you, confusing you with their squeaks and scratching you with tiny teeth and claws, which is something bats don't do. You will have to hack your way out. Reduce your skill by 1 point for this fight because you are of your disorientation. Treat the many bats as a single opponent, etc., etc. Yeah. So that was bats. 5, 12. If you win, you rejoin the main tunnel. Blah blah blah. Okay, I'm just going to roll that battle first. So I'm at 12. 13. I need to eat something soon. The bats were at 5. So I've got a 7 skill point advantage. I'm just going to roll once if I don't need to roll again. So I'm going to roll 7. So that's don't need to roll that one again. 4. Yeah. 9. I rolled a 10. Okay. 6. 10 versus 3, so that is a draw. 9, 12, they roll 12, I roll 6, and that is them dead. But when you slipped over, you lost 1 item or 1 lot of provisions from your pack. I'm going to lose my 1 provision, I suppose, and I'm also going to eat 2 of them as well. So I'm back up to 20. And I'm going to have to drink a little bit. Because I feel my I'm losing my voice here. Then turn to 370. Okay, so also minus 1 item. So basically, that is something one should never ever do. No advantages whatsoever from going into the bat cave. Okay. Shortly, you reach a spot where the floor has subsided and a pool of stagnant water has formed, which is about 1 meter deep and 3 meters wide. How do you know it's 1 meter deep if it's stagnant and you probably can't see the bottom? Will you try to jump over the pool or wade through it? I'll jump, thank you. 1 meter is still quite deep, isn't it? So 2, 3, 9, jump. 1, 5, 1, wade. So I'm going to jump. 2, 3, 9. There we are. You pace back along the tunnel to make a running jump. Test your luck. Jumping is not about luck. Jumping is about skill. That's not the right ability to use. I make it anyway. Test luck. And we have, I'll just put those over here. $160, $260, lucky, 160. Test your luck again. 2 luck rolls just to jump a tiny, tiny little pool. Seriously? 9, still lucky. Okay. 219. Lucky. 349. Unlucky. So jumping a little pool of water, a little puddle on the ground requires you to do 2 luck rolls, whereas if you take the path and you turn right and you follow the path, then you're lost forever without any rolls at all. Yes, very consistent. 219, lucky again. Now, and this with 2 luck rolls, it really should have also given you some clue as to what being lucky meant here. But it just says you clear the pool and land safely. That's it. So did 1 luck roll for the takeoff and 1 for the landing, is it? I'm a bit curious now because I just have to look up the unlucky paragraphs too, just to see what happens. Okay, so if you fail the first one, you slip and you die. If you fail the second one, you also slip and die. So basically you have to make those luck rolls. The end. That is quite super harsh to kill you on a double, to try to kill you on the double luck roll. You have to make both of them or you die. Okay. You clear the pool and land safely. You carry on for several more kilometers even. If you have not stopped to rest and eat provisions so far during your underground journey, you must reduce your stamina by 2 points. I don't like that system either. The point of provisions is so you can eat and regain stamina, not so not eating them means you lose stamina. I don't like that. Okay, so stamina -2 in double brackets. The monotonous single tunnel eventually comes to a fork. We take the left branch or the right branch. Oh, excuse me. 399. 276 left. Right. I want to try right 276. After a couple of 100 meters, you reach a recent cave-in. Although it is pretty solid, you can smell fresh air seeping through the cracks, and you faintly hear birds singing from the other side. You could try to clear the rockfall with your hands or a pickaxe head if you have one. Or you could despondently return to the fork and try the other branch, hoping that this too leads towards the outside. I'm not sure I'd want to do this with my hands. Let's see, 118 hands, 399. No, 292 is the one I wanted to write. 292. So that's pickaxe. I could try to use my hands though, see if it works. This gets you nowhere, but your increasingly frantic and frustrated scrabbling loses you 3 stamina points. Okay. Eventually you give up and return to the other branch of the tunnel. Go to 339. So you're still going back there. So that means the only way to get out is to have a pickaxe. Three stamina points just for getting a bit frustrated. That's not very good either, is it? I don't know if you can see this now. I'll just move that up a little bit. So the tiny little paragraph 400 there, and underneath it says "Yeah," written in pencil. Okay. Let's see, 399. As you trudge down this seemingly endless tunnel, the light fades from the shafts. It is night. But eventually you hear ahead of you the chuckling of a spring, and to judge by the lack of echo, it is not enclosed but out in the open. The tunnel is coming to an exit. However, you also start to hear the shuffling of a large creature of some kind. It is impossible to tell in the darkness how far ahead it might be. Will you press on stealthily or risk a sprint for the open air? Right, so we are either stealthy or sprinting like crazy. So 51, stealth, 147, sprint. I'm going to sprint. The tunnel curves, but you are unaware of this in the darkness, and you run straight into the side. So, are you seriously saying that it was so dark you couldn't even see where you were going, and you were given sprint as an option to go where you can't even see? That is not logical. Again, oh my god, it's so full of logical flaws. This one, absolutely ridiculous. Stamina -1. Okay. Actually, it's -16, so I can have a provision up to 20. Turn to 101. The noise you made has alerted the creature, and you hear it lumbering towards you. An easily recognizable grunt soon lets you know what you're up against. A Nandi bear. That doesn't sound like a very dangerous creature, doesn't it? A Nandi bear. It's a bit like, yeah. A bit like the gummy bears, isn't it? Nandi bear. It must have been using the entrance to the mine as its den. Then it is upon you. Reduce the skill by 1 point for this fight because of the darkness. Right. So. Actually, that means effectively is a 2, 2, 2. Okay. So, since I'm reducing my skill by 1, it's the same as increase. Actually, I forgot to. Yeah. So yeah, same difference whether I increase his skill or reduce mine. Really, it's just a difference that makes a difference, isn't it? So 9, 11, and I have. So I've got 1 less. So I'm going to put 12. 20 on mine, so I've got a 3 skill point advantage either way. He rolls 6. He rolls 8. 5, draw 6, 4, 6, 3, draw 8, 9. 2, yeah, that's an automatic hit. 5, 9, 5, 10. He is dead. If you win, turn to 222. You decide to spend the night in the Nandi Bear's cave. You use your flints and tinder to start a fire out of sticks and logs. So I've been walking around in the darkness, bumping my head while I've got a flint and tinder, and probably something I could burn as well instead. Yeah. To start a fire out of sticks and logs, which you find in and around the cave, and make yourself comfortable. If you met the Doragar family in the mine, turn to 112. I did not. Met the Doragar family. Otherwise, turn to 121. Now, I don't know where I am in relation to anything else now on my map, so but I'm getting close to not having any room for more here. I should have had a known map for this dungeon, I think. Anyway, 222. So we have 2 options. And that is 112 or 121. Not easy to mix up at all. So that is the Doragar question mark or no. So we didn't meet the Doragar family, and I'm going to 121. You rest, eat provisions, and drink fresh water from the nearby spring. If you have no provisions, restore only 2 stamina points for the rest and drink. Otherwise, restore the full 4 stamina points. Okay. Well, I don't need any stamina. In either case, you may add 2 luck points for surviving the deadly mine. Okay. That at least adds a little bit of fairness to that double luck roll nonsense earlier. So +2 luck. In the morning, you're reluctant to leave this haven. Turn to 343. That doesn't sound like I should be reluctant about leaving that haven. And also, I see that is the same as this paragraph over here. Which means that, again, I do not have the scepter that I may need. We'll see. Anyway, luck is back to 10. I go to 343, which is on my map page 2. You set your course by the sun for Fallow Dale. If you have 2 or fewer lots of provisions left, turn to 376. Otherwise, turn to 200. I have how many left? I have 6. The remainder of the journey to Fallow Dale is uneventful, apart from the occasional skirmish with the wild beast. See, and that's lots of stuff. 1 paragraph. Nothing. As you descend into Fallow Dale, you recall what you know about the place. Several villages are located there, and the population is a mixture of human and other intelligent species. The villages are bound into a loose federation under a single overlord who occupies a fortified castle in the middle of the dale. Heather is the present lord of Fallow Dale, and his proud boast is that the fortifications of his castle are purely for external enemies. His villagers live at peace with one another and with him, and that is a really weird thing to say. Apart from this, you have little reliable knowledge. The people of Arion never travel far from their familiar world, and certainly not as far as Fallow Dale. And few traders have passed from Heather's land to yours. You can see the castle a few kilometers away. Your route could take you through a village, or you could bypass the village by crossing a large ploughed field. Either way, it's a bit somehow. I'm going to go through the village. Even though the only thing you can do in the village is to heal. You can't do anything else. The village is so boring, you can't only do healing. There are few people out in the street. An old woman weaving baskets outside her front door eyes you curiously, and the blacksmith, a hulking man with at least a few pints of troll blood in his veins, stops working while you pass. I'm getting very sniffly for some reason. Is there some... I'm wondering, I've got my window open here. Maybe I'm reacting to something that's coming through here. I don't know. Anyway. Will you go into the village inn, or are you so badly hurt and wounded that you ask the blacksmith for the way to the local healer? I would have liked a third option, just go past both and get on your merry way. I go to the inn and it says, for 1 gold piece you can buy food and drink that will restore 2 stamina points. That's not going to the inn. That's what you should be told when you already are at the inn. So again, there's a bit of narrative missing there, because now it should say, it should tell you about the inn, it should describe the inn, it should tell you, you go into the inn and you find the barkeep or whatever, and he's the one who tells you this. So there's a bit of narrative that's been cut out, which is inexcusable because this is a tiny book. It could have been longer. Then you leave the village. Okay, 24. Will you continue along the road or turn to cross the ploughed field? I'm going to go along the road because the farmer was a bit annoying. A couple of villagers catch you up. They are somewhat the worse for drink. The local medlar wine is pretty potent. They take up positions, one to either side of you, and then talk as if you weren't there at all. A stranger? Yes, I don't hold with strangers. Nor me. Let's roll this one. You have no wish to offend Heather by seriously hurting any of his people, but you will have to defend yourself against these two thugs. You lay aside your weapons, roll up your sleeves, and use the noble art of fisticuffs. Roll 1 die. If you roll 1 or 2, they have managed to hit you, and you must reduce your stamina by 1 point. If you roll 3 or 4, you dodge their blows, but they block yours. If you roll 5 or 6, you have succeeded in landing a blow. Once you have hit them 3 times, they will run away. Okay, so once. That was a hit on me. I'll just put a little check mark there for now. I hit them twice. And that's nothing happens, is it? Yep. And 3 again, and 4, and 1. That's another hit on me. 5. That is 3 times. So I've punched him in the face 3 times. I lost 2 stamina points. And I won the fisticuffs, and I go to 78. It is evening when you reach the gates. 2 dwarf guards ask your business, then show you inside to a sparsely furnished waiting room. One of them returns before long. My Lord Heather is dining, he says, and asks whether you will join him. Will you accept and go straight away, or ask to be shown to your room first? Now, the thing about the room is that there were some pygmy orcs that were stealing my stuff. I haven't tried going to the room first. I think I'll go to the room first this time, see what happens. You are shown to a room in the northeast tower, whose slit window overlooks Fallow Dale and as far as the beginning of Pikestaff Plain. The guard waits outside while you shed your pack and helmet but retain your sword, and repair your appearance as much as possible. You are just finishing when there is a commotion in the corridor outside. You open the door to see a pygmy orc withdrawing a dagger from the guard's body. You draw your sword and challenge the orc. Your opponent may be small, but he is nimble. He ducks your thrust and is hard to wound. Okay. So he is 7, 8. I am 13 now because of my sword. 18. I've got a 6 skill point advantage. He rolls 8. I roll 5. So he's down to 6. He rolls 8. I roll 6. He's down to 4. But after 2 attack rounds, you both hear more soldiers approaching at a run. The orc darts away around the corner. Will you follow or wait? Okay. So, you've got 2 options. I'm going to move them over on the other side here, I think. Follow or wait. 111. I'm going to follow him, so I'm going to go to paragraph 8. The orc is nowhere to be seen. Soon realize that you could easily get lost among the corridors and staircases of the castle, so you return to your room and find several other guards, some bending over their comrade, others looking around warily. Turn to 111. So 8 didn't have any effect. The soldiers don't know you, of course, and there you are with your sword drawn, and there is their friend's corpse. It all looks very suspicious. They push you into your room and post guards outside, while others go off to report the incident. When you look around your room, you see that your helmet is missing, and you soon find a rope dangling out of the window to the ground below. A thief or thieves who are presumably in league with the orc must have escaped that way. Will you grab your things and go down the rope yourself in pursuit, call for help, or await developments? Right, so this is not that dissimilar to what happens if you first eat and then you go to your room. Because these paragraphs are a little bit different, I presume. Right, so we have three options. One 6 3 7 7 3 4 2. Wait. Call. Pursue. Right. Now, what happened last time? Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's the same option there. Okay, so I just couldn't find it. So pursue there is there. The weight is different, of course, because now the guard has been killed and I'm actually a suspect. I am going to call for help, maybe? Yeah, I'll call for help, see what happens. The guards are still inclined to think that anything you do may be a trick, so they simply knock you unconscious to keep you quiet. Right. So stamina -3, and then I'm going to 3 4 2 anyway, so don't do that. And then I'm going to 342. Before long, Heather himself enters the room, surrounded by guards ready for the slightest suspicious move from you. He is a huge black bearded man, quick to anger and quick to laughter. You tell him what has happened and point out that, as ruler of Arion, you are not used to such treatment. Heather quietly asks you to describe the missing helmet. When you have done so, he smiles with relief and steps forward to embrace you. You are welcome, cousin, he booms. Ivor Tynan sent word by Eagle of your coming. Now, how may we help? How does Ivor Tynan know that I'm coming? Because it was the other guy, the armorer, who told me to go here. I still suspect Ivor Tynan of being up to something. Now, how may we help? You show him the rope. Heather arranges for a search party, 6 in all, including yourself, to go in pursuit of the thieves. Turn to 166. Okay, so this is where we are going in pursuit, but this time I'm not alone, unlike last time I did this little bit here. So, and one of the reasons I died was because I was alone when I did that the first time. So this could go better. It is difficult for you to pick up the trail of the thieves during the nighttime, even with the moon out. But some progress is made. By morning, you are on the margins of Pikestaff Plain, heading north, and the tall grass of the plain makes it easy to track the thieves. The bent and crushed stems are clearly visible. Soon the thieves themselves come into view, heads and shoulders bobbing above the grass. If you have companions, turn to 14. If you are alone, turn to 356. So this time I have companions, and I go to 14. It is no hard task to halt the thieves. There are 6 pygmy orcs, specially bred for burglary. They look at you with venom. Curse you for bringing others, the leader hisses. It is you we want, not your paltry helmet. He draws a wicked-looking dagger. It's quite a nice picture here, by the way. He draws a wicked-looking dagger and lunges for you, while the other orcs engage your companions. Right. 7, 10. Okay, so let's recap a little bit now. So Ivor Tynan knows that I'm going to this place, which means he must have what's his name again? The I'm trying to remember the name of the armorer now. Not Goody Two Shoes, but something similar. What was his name? 53. Truehand, yes, Truehand was the name. So maybe, I mean, Truehand was, at least to my knowledge, the only one who knew where I was going. And Truehand shows up somewhere else, and something seems to happen to him. And Ivor knows I'm going here, and he has informed Heather, but also these orcs know that I'm here. He must have informed them too, is my thought. So I still think that Ivor is the mastermind behind this, because I've only got his word for the fact that Morgana is doing what he says. I think it's he who's doing that, and he's trying to frame Morgana and send me out to chase Morgana so that he can get rid of me and make himself leader of Arion. Does that sound plausible? I think that sounds very plausible to me. And that is actually, if that is the case, that is a good story. It's just the way it's told is not the best. Right, so I'm fighting a pygmy orc, 7, 10. I have 12, 13, 18, yeah. Which means I have 6 skill point advantage. But I should also win within 5 attack rounds, ideally. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, so that's 1 round. He rolls an 8, I roll a 9. He rolls 11, I roll 10. He rolls 11, I roll 8. Okay. He rolls 7, I roll 7. So he's dead within 5 rounds. Let's see. So 2, 6, 8. 1, 2, 9. 5 rounds. Not. 2, 6, 8. There are 3 of your companions left, but no orcs. You recover your helmet, and the 4 of you begin the long trek back to Fallow Dale, resting frequently on the way. Turn to 321. Resting frequently? How far away were we anyway? Still not really well described, I think. So 3, 2, 1. Okay. 3, 2, 1. I got my helmet back. When you get back to Fallowdale and appear before Heather with your helmet, he can see that you are whom you claim to be. The ruler of Arion. At the back of your mind now is the question of Heather's horn and how to ask him about it. But you spend the time discussing more pressing questions. How did the thieves know you were here? How did the message get through to them, and from whom? Eventually, Heather suggested some tales from his bard might take your mind off your worries if you are not too tired. Will you accept? So the bard 184. I'll go to bed 26. Okay, so this is where I've been before. So I can go like so. either go to bed or hear what the bard has to say. So I'm going to, if I listen to what the bard has to say, he will tell me a clue about the scepter and orb, which is a bit weird because I know that the scepter can be found before this point, so why would you get a clue about the scepter after you found it? You also get 1 luck point, which I don't need. I'm going to do the bard anyway. You and Heather continue the small talk of the table for a while until you are joined by the bard. He is a young man branded on the forehead with the traditional mark of his kind, so that wherever he may roam in civilized lands he will be treated as a sacred guest. As he tells a few traditional tales, you are struck by the fact that he is not very good. You glance curiously at Heather and he whispers a reason to you. This lad was the apprentice of my former bard, who was the best in the land, but he was abducted a few months ago and has not been heard of since. Still, this lad is improving. He is learning to weave a song around any tale you want him to. This, of course, is the traditional bardic skill. As his guest, Heather tells you, you can ask the bard to sing something. It would be impolite to turn down this invitation. Will you ask him to sing about the old story of Pike and the Firefox, or to make up a song about your own visit to Fallow Dale? So this time I'm going to do a... I'm getting blue on my fingers from my pen, which means the pen is due to be retired. And I need a new blue pen. Don't want to get any blue ink in my fighting fantasy books. So I'll be... There we are. I'll need a new blue pen. I've got one over here somewhere maybe. Or not. I'll be right back. New blue pen. Right. See, you have so many expensive pens out there. Many expensive pens, if you do this, it doesn't start writing right away. Or you can't do thin lines or thick lines, or shades. But the cheapest ones you get practically are the Bics. And the Bics are actually also the best. So I've had an expensive pen that I bought on special offer one time for £30 that used to cost £120. And the refill that came with it, this was a cross pen, the refill that came with it was really good, which is why I bought it. And then when you bought new refills, the quality of the refills were so rubbish that most sort of advertising pens, which are the cheapest and crummiest, were better than the ones you got. So this is much better. This that costs a few pennies, better than a £30 pen, and certainly better than a £4 refill, for which you can get, I don't know, a big pack of these. That was the mail arriving. Right. But I am getting distracted. So we are the bard, yes. So I know the story of my own visit because I've done it before. I know there's a clue there, but I know about the scepter and orb, and I'm not going to think of that as an essential item to get the clue right now, at least until proven otherwise. So I'm going to ask about the story of Pike and the Firefox. And go to 296. The bard complies with your request quite skillfully, but misses out the bit where Pike battles the wyvern on Wailing Island and has him changing into a buzzard, not an eagle, at the end. Afterwards you go to bed. Is that important? We don't know. Probably not. So I'll go to 26, and there we go. You sleep long and well. Restore 2 stamina points. And wake up in the morning refreshed and determined to ask Heather immediately about his horn. You find him in the privy chamber. He has shown himself to be both friendly and trustworthy, so you tell him about your quest and explain how useful his fabled horn would be. Heather is quiet for a while after you have finished talking. Then he says, "It is clear that your mission is so dangerous that were you to take my horn, I might never see it again. And yet it is the bulwark." Is that how you pronounce that? I've always been wondering. Well, not always, but it just occurred to me that I'm not actually sure bulwark is the correct pronunciation of that word. So I'll just double check now. I've got Collins on my phone. Bulwark is actually the correct pronunciation. I keep putting the stress a little bit further back. I keep saying bulwark. But yeah, bulwark is the word I was looking for. Yes. Where am I? Yes. And yet it is the bulwark of my reign. If I give it to you, I must have in return something of great value. If you have a magic crystal mirror, turn to 58. I do not. Otherwise, turn to 149. So 149 it is. I have nothing of value to offer you except myself, you say simply. Heather thinks for a moment. All right, he says finally. There is something you could do for me. There is an exceptionally large saber-toothed cat. I'm going to change every occurrence of tiger to cat. There's an exceptionally large saber-toothed cat which has its lair in Affan Forest, but occasionally emerges and roams my lands, killing my people and their flocks. If you can free my land from this beast, I will give you my horn, but it will not be easy. The cat, is hard to get close to, and extremely dangerous when cornered. Will you accept the test or not? I will accept the test, 240, even though that's a bit of a silly meta game here. Heather equips you with a hunting spear and a pack of hounds, and himself leads you to the part of Affan Forest in which the tiger is known to be hiding at the moment. On the opposite page is a map, blah, blah, blah. So basically I'll just have to keep track of where things are on the map. Didn't I have a map already for this? So yeah. So I've done this before, of course. This was last time, and I managed to get the tiger. Just to make it look different this time, I'm going to do it in green. So I'll be able to do this a few times without changing my map. I don't like using erasers. I could have removed all this stuff, but so you roll 1 for yourself, then 1 for the tiger. You have 8 dice rolls to catch up with the tiger. And also, if you ever land on C9, there is a special thing happening. So let's get started. So how many rounds did I have? 8 dice rolls. Okay, so I've got 8 rounds. I'll just put that up here actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we are. Okay, first round. 3. Move 2 squares north. So I'm starting here. Yep, and tiger is starting there, and something special happened here. Okay, so I'm moving 2 north, so I am now here. The tiger rolls a 6, which means he moves 1 square north. That's not good. Okay, that was round 1. Then we have the next round. I rolled a 2, 1 square east, so I am now there. Tiger rolls a 5. The tiger stops to investigate a tree and does not move this turn. Okay. 5. That is move 1 square west, so I'm back where I was the round before. Tiger rolls 5 again, which means it just stays there. 1. Your hounds have caught the scent. Move 1 square closer in any direction. So that is 1 north. The tiger rolls 1. That is 1 square south. He's back where he started. Can still do it. Still do it. 4. Your hounds are well on the trail. Move 2 squares closer to the tiger in any direction. So that is up there. And tiger rolls a 5. He stays put. I roll a 5. 1 square west. Not ideal. Tiger rolls a 3. 1 square west. That's good then. I rolled a 1. 1 square closer in any direction. He rolls a 3. That is 1 square west again. That is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So last one, 2. 1 square east. Oh, can't do it now. The tiger rolls 1. 1 square south. That was so close. If I'd only moved 1 square west or north or anything almost, I would have got him now. Okay. And that was 8th round, so he escapes. Right, 177. That is, did not make it this time. Very close, very close. This map, yeah. Is this map? Hang on. Where is the tiger hunt now? Oh yes, there it is. You return in shame to where Hever is waiting with his village headman at the edge of the forest. The blue sky, the pennants fluttering in a gentle breeze, and the sound of skylarks high above you are strangely at odds with your sense of failure. Hever is a man of his word. He does not give you his horn. He escorts you back to the castle As you are preparing to leave, Hever has food brought to you from the kitchens. Restore 2 stamina points. Don't need those. Stamina plus 2. And turn to 384. So we have 384. As you are taking your leave of Hever, a bruised and bleeding figure thrusts his way past the guards into the courtyard and collapses face down at your feet. You gently turn him over and have difficulty at first in recognizing Kevin Truehand, your armourer from Arion. He is barely alive. He speaks through cracked lips with a great effort, as if resisting the approach of death or of something worse. Majesty, I tried. Black magic. Must not give in. Then he chokes and breathes his last. You jump to your feet. Will you go over to discuss this matter with Hever, or stay thinking about it yourself? So I'm going to discuss it with Hever. With death, Kevin's heroic resistance snaps once and for all, and the evil spirit implanted in his body is able to take control. Ah, is it possible that the evil spirit implanted in his body is the one that told me to go to Fallow Dale, and that was put there by Morgana or Ivor or both? It is, isn't it? And that's why he knew that I would be there. It too jumps to its feet, that is, Kevin's feet, and it hurls an impenetrable magical barrier around itself and you. But because you have moved closer to Hever, he is caught inside the barrier and helps you in the fight. The spirit, cackling with glee and cracking a fiery 9-tailed whip, has eyes only for you, but every time you win an attack round, you may assume that Hever has been successful too, and reduce the fiend's stamina by 3 instead of 2. So, I have 13 20. I shall just do it there, 13, 20. And the spirit here has 9, 12. So I have a 4 skill point advantage. He rolls 2. It's down to 9. He rolls 7. I roll 5. Down to 6. He rolls 8. I roll 7. Down to 3. He rolls 8. I roll 8. And he is dead. So if you both win, the barrier dissolves, turn to 132. You answer Heather's inevitable questions, but you can only guess what treachery lies behind this incident. Then you leave Fallow Dale. Heather has restocked you with the full amount of 10 lots of provisions. So provisions now 10. And given you a new pack and water flask. Turn to 20. So this is where I've changed pages again. Here. After half a day's travel through the chest-high grass of Pikestaff Plain, actually, my memory card is full. So I think this is a good place to take a little break for me, and I'll be back with more after my break, which basically means I upload the video files to my computer, I take a little break, you go drink some more water, blow my nose, that sort of thing. And I'll be back with you after that. So, little transition coming up then. Boom. Okay, here we are, back again. Let's get started, get the show back on the road. Right. After half a day's travel through the chest-high grass of Pikestaff Plain, nothing more exciting has happened than pollen causing you to sneeze once in a while. The landscape is featureless, just the same grass all around. However, you do come across a tiny trail. It is no more than 15 centimeters wide and therefore hard to spot among the stems, but it is a definite trail, running dead straight from southwest to northeast. Will you ignore it and carry on more or less due north, or wait by it? So this is where, if you follow it, you can get some gold pieces, was it? But I don't have any gold in this one. I can't remember now what exactly was it I did last time. If you ignore it, you go to there. If you go there. I'm just going to ignore it, I think, and keep going. 140. By nightfall, there is still no end to the grass. Will you flatten some of it and bed down for the night? Turn to 2. Or press on. If you bed down, you get -2 something there. I can't really tell what it says there. -2 stamina, probably. I'm going to press on, though. See if that makes a difference. Maybe I'll meet some creatures of the night that might be exciting to fight. You must eat 1 lot of provisions just to keep your strength up. Yeah, that's alright. A full night's travel brings you to the end of the grass. The landscape facing you is moorland, dotted with rocks and shrubs and crisscrossed by numerous streams and rivers which reflect the dawn sun. You rest for a while and then carry on. Turn to 68. So that is the same. Okay. So no real penalty for not sleeping then in this case. If you follow the ant trail at all, turn to 291. If otherwise, turn to 350. So this time I did not follow the ant trail. So let's find out if that something different happens. Will you head north, which is the most direct route to Krilganash from where you are, or slightly northwest? Turn to 55. So these are different options than if you did follow the ant trail, which is a little bit weird, to be honest. Maybe it's to do with where you actually are geographically now, because if you follow the ant trail, you would be somewhere else, I guess. So 236 direct route. I'm not sure if I have that one before. I don't think so. I'm just going to put these options over here. This is going to be a slightly different path from last time, which is interesting. So 236 Krill and 5255 northwest. Now, should I head straight for the mountains, or should I head northwest is the big question. I'm going to head northwest, see what happens. As you walk along, your attention is for some reason drawn to your shadow, which bobs up and down on the boulders you pass, or gets smudged by the shrubs. Suddenly, to your astonishment and alarm, it bulges and changes shape. This cannot be your shadow anymore, for a start. You don't have horns on your head. Sheer terror makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when the shadow monster detaches itself from your shadow and launches itself at you, brandishing a trident. The lesser demon is solid enough to injure you as normal, but you can cause it only one stamina point of injury every time you win an attack round. Right, so there's a 7-6. So that means effectively it's like a 7-12 in a way. Okay, so it's 7-12. I am at 13-20. I've got a 6 skill point advantage. So I roll. No, he rolls 6. So that means I've hit him the first round. Actually, I'll just put down 5. He rolls 8. I roll 10. He rolls 5. I don't need to roll for that one really. He rolls 8. I roll 6. He rolls 5. He rolls 5, and he is dead again. I suppose it's kind of undead, isn't he? It suddenly feels like kind of undead. Or a demon, I suppose. So, if you win, you think about changing direction. Why? Will you head northeast or north? So, let's see. Do I have these numbers before? So, it's 323 northeast. I do have that there. Oh, hang on. Okay, so 323 or north 336. Okay, so that is okay. So we do have these ready now. This is where I have done 336 before. That leads over here. I have not done 323 northeast. My map is a little bit confusing here now because the exits from this little village that you get to are sort of mixed up in the village. I maybe should try something new and go to 323 northeast, although that might be the wrong way. No serious obstacles present themselves for quite a while. The streams are either shallow enough to wade or small enough to jump over. The land is covered with heather. Oh, yeah, if you went the other way, there was the bushfire. The land is covered with heather or bilberry shrubs, which often make the going awkward, but by no means impossible, and provide some food. In the mid-afternoon of the second day, after leaving the grass, you come across a strange sight in such surroundings. A gaily painted caravan is being drawn by a water buffalo heading west. A robust old man is sitting on the seat of the caravan. The reins hang limply in his hands, and he doesn't seem very concerned about where the caravan goes. I've seen this guy before, haven't I? But where did I see him? I remember the description. I don't remember the picture. Was he in some other paragraph as well? Maybe. Right. The reins hang limply in his hands, and he doesn't seem very concerned about where the caravan goes. The pots and pans strung up around the caravan clash and clang as it passes over the uneven ground. A sign on the side reads, Canches, alchemist and trader. You call out and Canches stop the caravan. The buffalo immediately begins to tug at some coarse grass. Canches offers to sell you some of his homemade wares. If you have money and want to see what he's got, remember this paragraph number and turn to 80. If you have no money, you can either pass the time of day and then continue northeast, or attack the alchemist to try to steal his goods, which is completely out of character. Where did I see this guy before? I'm definitely sure I have seen him. But where on earth did I see him before? $185. $80. Hang on. Do you also meet him when you go 336 perhaps? Ah, yeah. So you actually meet this alchemist also when you go to 336. So both of them have this paragraph 80 in that case for buy alchemist. Let's see what's for sale. Potion of luck, potion of healing, cloak of invisibility, antifreeze potion, boots of agility, yeah, all that stuff. So 80. And in this case, I can continue. Do 185 for attack. I can also have that as an option now. I'm not going to do that. Or I'm going to continue northeast and go to 375, which I do not have here on my map before. I'm going to put that up there. I think I need to use a different color for these ones because otherwise it's going to get a little bit mixed up now. So these ones go like that. These ones go like so. And this one also goes up here to 375 northeast. Okay, so I'm going northeast. I don't have any money. So the following night, your campfire attracts some unwelcome visitors. A couple of Modidas are patrolling their territory and resent your intrusion. And they're attracted by fire? Really? Again, doesn't make any sense. Modidas are scavengers. They're rather like huge hyenas and are usually too cowardly to approach anything which might fight back. But to judge by the state of these two, they have not had anything to eat for quite a while and are desperate. If you have a cloak of temporary invisibility, it will do you no good here, as the Modidas' powerful sense of smell is just as effective as their sight. They adopt the method of attack peculiar to their kind and each attack you in alternate attack rounds. The first Modida is weakened by disease and has become rabid. If it wins any attack rounds against you, you will have to cut the poison out of the wound it has inflicted. This will cause you 2 further stamina points of injury. But you can do this only if you survive the battle, of course. Okay, why would you even think to do that? Again, a little bit weird, but there we go. 1320, and we have 5, 8, and 7, 10, and they attack alternately. And the first one is Rabid. So I'm going to put an R in front of the name there. So first one, 8 skill point advantage to me. He rolls a 7, so he is down to 6. Second round, he rolls 11, I roll 10, he's down to 8. Next round, 9, 7. Next round, 7, 9, 8, 8, 9, 6, 9, 6. First one is dead. Second one, 6, 11. Second one again, 7 and 9. So they're both the Mordidas are dead. And we go to 13. Let's see, let's put up the 5, 8, 7, 10 special rules, and 13 for winning the battle. Okay, so this looks like this is a way to avoid the forest fire. Is you only get into that if you go the other way. It looks like maybe that is a good idea, just to not go that way at all. But yeah. Several days later, reduce your provisions by 2. Where are we? Provisions 7. Yeah. You are faced with your most dangerous situation yet. Oh no, the forest fire is still here. It's still here, but this time I have the rope, which will help me into the canyon. There it is. 13. Okay, so that is the same paragraph. So there is no way to avoid the forest fire. That's just as well, I guess. 13. Okay. You are faced with your most dangerous situation yet. A bushfire starts in the south and is racing in your direction, driven by the wind. The front of the fire is many kilometers long. At any rate, even from a distance, you cannot see the ends of it. The dry heather and shrubs are excellent kindling for it, and it leaps the streams and small rivers with no apparent pause. It is still a long way away, but you know the speed at which such fires travel. Will you stay where you are, race north, try to find the western limit, try to find the fire's eastern limit, or move towards the fire? So we've got lots of options. Before, I have tried different things that didn't work so much. Going north seemed to work. So I am going to go north to 47. Only a few kilometers north you find an impassable canyon. Just double checking I am in focus now. Are we in focus? I think I may have been out of focus there. I do apologize. Find an impassable canyon. There is no bridge here across its span of several hundred meters, and the sides are too steep to climb. Animals fleeing the fire are jumping over or being pushed by other beasts to their deaths in the shallow river at the bottom of the gorge, about half a kilometer below. If you have rope, it will not reach the bottom, of course, but you could tie one end of the rope to a boulder and let yourself down until the fire burns itself out at this natural fire break. Alternatively, you could run along the edge, etc., etc. I'm going to try the rope now because I do have a rope, which I didn't last time. You let yourself down onto a ledge where you can comfortably wait for the fire to end. The fire does eventually die out, but not before it has burned through the end of your rope, which is tied to the boulder. You are marooned on your ledge until starvation or birds of prey finish you off. The end. So, we end. I was actually thinking about what happens if the rope burns. Okay, so that means that, yeah. Right, I played long enough now, so I'm not going to do any more do-overs now. I'm just wondering if, because of the beginning is starting to get a little bit samey, that next time maybe I should start by trying to... It looks like there's absolutely no way you get any further in this game without getting through the forest fire. So I think that next time I'm going to sort of do a finger bookmark save game thing here and try other options. I need to find a way through the forest fire. I'm going to keep the character, keep everything the same as it is, and do the forest fire again. Start from the forest fire. No, the bushfire, sorry, not forest fire. So otherwise I'll be doing the same thing over again, and I'll get to this point and then I might die again. So in order to be more efficient, this is where I will begin. So yes, so that's, thank you very much for watching. If you have watched this far, yes, thank you very much for watching if you have watched this far, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you again for my next episode. I hope you really enjoyed this. I did enjoy it. I mean, still, the way this narrative is strung together is a bit somehow, and some things feel a bit unfair and random and a bit inconsistent. But behind that all, there seems to be a decent puzzle here in finding the right path, and there seems to be a decent story, and I'm still wondering. The thing is, this story has actually engaged me in the sense that I'm really wondering what is going on, and I wonder what part Ivor has to play in this, whether he is actually the evil one or in cahoots with Morgana, and I really want to find out. And so I'm quite excited to continue because of those things, and I'm going to let all those shortcomings slide for now. It's a bit of a shame because it could have been written so much better with the same story and the same puzzles, I feel, but it's not that bad actually when it all comes down to it. It's climbing a little bit, I think, in my hierarchy, in my chart of fighting fantasy books. It is not the second to last anymore. But yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite by a long shot anymore, I think. And I think it's got something going for it, and it still hinges, of course, a little bit about how the end game is, and also how getting past this forest fire is going to be. The bushfire, so I keep saying forest fire, sorry. It's just that in Norway, of course, there's a lot of forests, so when there's a wildfire, it is a forest fire, not a bushfire. So I'm used to thinking of all these wildfires as synonymous with with forest fires in my mind, even though that's not the case, of course. Anyway, right, yes, so that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did, and I will see you again next time for more Masks of Mayhem and more forest fires. So goodbye for now, and yeah, bye-bye.